I'm Reverend Norman Williams, and I live at the Poplars behind the grammar school here. And the events that took place in the years 1970, 72 are now, well, almost forgotten events, but they were really very important to life and to the school in Cowbridge. I need to really give you some idea of what the state of things were before this short period. You see, Cowbridge for many years had powers to work independent of the county council in a number of areas of administration. But in the matter of education, after the Education Act of 1944, the county council were considered to have total control of county schools, including Cowbridge Grammar School. But because Cowbridge was a borough in its own right, a representative of the borough council was permitted to sit on the county council education committee. Now, the member that sat on that committee used to come back to Cowbridge Borough Council and report on events at those meetings. Now, in early 1970, when I was a junior councillor on the Cowbridge Borough Council, we had a report that the County Council Education Committee, after 5 years consideration and reorganisation of secondary school education in Glamorgan, had completed all the necessary arrangements for the closure of the two schools in Cowbridge. That included the boys' grammar school and the girls' high school. And arrangements and provisions had to be made for transporting the children who had come to Cowbridge down to Lantwick Major for their further secondary education. And the boys' grammar and girls' high school would be merged to form a new bilingual school with a base language of Welsh to serve the whole of the Glamorgan area. Well, my reaction was instinctive when I heard this in the council meeting, and I condemned these arrangements and wanted to know what the council were doing about opposing them. But I was told to shut up, really. But it appeared that the Borough Council were well aware of the action that had gone on for the past 5 years in forming this, and in principle they were not happy with the arrangements, but they were quietly acquiescent. But that was soon to stop. My wife and I was very concerned, and we talked over what we could do. And our first joint action was to visit our good friend and neighbour, Edward Rees, the headmaster of the grammar school at that time, and a great friend of ours. And after learning of our intention to become involved in this and to lead action against it, he gave us his blessing and assurance he'd help us all he could, but he did make one very important statement, and that was to go all out to retain secondary schooling in Cowbridge, but within the comprehensive pattern. He felt this was the right direction to be going, and so we went along those lines. So the next thing was, how were we then to fight the mighty power of the Glamorgan County Council? And don't forget, it was a very, very large council, and very well, powerful in all its rights. We agreed that the public had every right to know what was happening in the Education Committee and how it would affect the public. And so we decided to alert the press and to gain their support for us as the underdogs that we were, of course. Secondly, we would organise a petition to cover the catchment area, which spread from Culver House Cross in the east to Bridgend in the west, and from Pontyclean in the north to Lantwick Major in the south. Well, this was a daunting proposition, but it worked out rather easier than we had originally thought. As soon as people knew what we were doing, they actually volunteered to take on quite large areas to canvass, and but we had to get over to them that it would not be as a grammar school and a high school, it would have to be as a comprehensive pattern in Cowbridge. How the petition read was this: having given consideration to the requirements of secondary education in the areas of Cowbridge and Lantwick Major, we, the undersigned, residing in the villages of St Hilary, Lisworney, Colwynson, Pensline, Aberthin, Well St Donats, Pendoylan, St Athan, St Mary Hill, Craig Pensline, etc., are firmly of the opinion that the Cowbridge Boys Grammar School and Cowbridge High School for Girls should be retained, including them in the pattern of comprehensive education in New Morgan, adding to and improving existing buildings as necessary. Well, with my wife's guidance and me acting as chauffeur and general factotum and collector, we had the satisfaction that after several weeks of having collected nearly 2,500 signatures. And we thought that was quite good at any rate.